Zahmet and Nimr. I'm gonna talk to you about my case study, which is about anti-natalism. The whole main idea about anti-natalism I'm gonna show it to you today is by showing two arguments about two academic professionals. One of them is with anti-natalism and the other one is against it. I'm gonna show you the one who supports anti-natalism and why he thinks that, and his argument to support his way of thinking, and the other professor who is against anti-natalism and he thinks that it is wrong, and he's going to show his reply to the argument of the other professor. Now those two professors, David Benatar, he even wrote a book about it. He's the one who is support anti-natalism, and the other one is Aaron Smuts, who is against anti-natalism, and he's debating with David about why is anti-natalism is wrong. So I'm going to talk to you, like I told you, it is about to raise the awareness and the concept about why anti-natalism is correct. All right. So the introduction here is, we think David. The whole thing, we're going to start this as David thinks that it is always wrong to bring someone into existence. It is kind of a gambling game to him, because we are not assuring our kids' life, because we are always causing harm to the life of our beloved babies. If we bring them into existence, he's going to support that idea by showing two arguments. One of them is the asymmetry argument, and the other one is the argument of pessimism. Now, argument of pessimism is not how David named it. That is how Aaron thinks that the argument should be about, because he thinks that the whole argument, once we get to talk to it, is all based on pessimism, which is something that is not considered to be considered in a scientific approach like this one. All right. So we're going to start with Benatar's first argument. Benatar thinks that the absence of bad is good for the non-existent people, and the absence of good is neither good or bad for the non-existing people. So if you combine them both together, David concludes that it is always bad to be brought into existence. Now I'm going to show you an example that is going to support this argument. Here's the example. He showed two scenarios. One of them is a scenario that what he means by X is he existed, the person or the people or the baby that it exists. So if a person existed, what David say in this example, that if X existed, there's a chance that there is a presence of bad, a presence of pain. And presence of pain always means that it is a bad thing, right? Now there's another scenario which is a presence of pleasure. Pleasure is good, all right? So scenario B here, which is never exists, he thinks that the absence of pain is always good, no matter what. Absence of pain is always good. But the absence of pleasure is not bad, because if it is not there, the kid is not there, it is not always bad. Like it could mean anything, but it's not bad. So, like I told you, what he meant, he thinks that if we want to take scenario A, we should count both the good and bad, and if we want to take scenario B, we should only take the good and ignore the absence of pleasure. So, the whole thing behind this argument is based on probabilities or statistics. Scenario B is always preferable, because if you look at the probability on this scenario and this scenario, always scenario B will win. No matter what, scenario B will always win, because it is much better probabilities. There's less bad there. So the reply here why Aaron thinks that this argument is wrong, because Benatar drew the wrong conclusion from asymmetries, which is wrong in the first place to be considered in this debate, and the calculation is wrong. So by that, anti-natalism is not correct. How he explained that? He explained that with the same example that David showed, which is the same scenario, but he added a measurable units to it. By measurable units, I'm talking about there's scenario A, scenario B, same example as David, but he added a measurable units. So to explain what Aaron replied, he thinks that presence of 10 units of pain equal minus 10, but the presence of 30 units of pleasure is a plus 30. So if you add them both together, then we're going to leave with 20. Now the scenario B, which is to never exist, the absence, you notice that there's a presence and there is absence.